On to major stories. Good evening, I am Joel Crosskill. Leaders at Jamaica's 40th Annual National Leadership Prayer Breakfast are making a plea for peace. Representatives from government, the opposition, church and civil society gathered in Kingston earlier today for prayer focused on reconciliation and unity in the nation. Robian Williams has the details in this report.
Unless the Lord builds the house, its builders labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchmen stand guard in vain. Words echoed during the National Leadership Prayer Breakfast. It was out of the ashes of political violence that the event was born in 1981, with its main purpose to foster unity in the nation. Guest speaker Bishop Conrad Pitkin notes that the country is being stifled by injustice and social and economic inequality.
The lack of respect and respect for others. The lack of economic inclusion among the poor in depressed communities. Injustice.
The theme for this year is Pursuing the Power of Peace. Prime Minister Andrew Holness read the first lesson of the session, while opposition leader read the second scripture. The event, held under the patronage of the Governor-General, saw members of both political parties in attendance.
There comes a time when, as leaders entrusted with the office or position we hold, we must put the interest of the nation above personal or partisan interest.
Bishop Pitkin addressed critics who say the gathering is irrelevant.
Unless you had lived through the period, you would not be able to understand the level of animosity, hostility, and political tribalism that prevailed in the nation at that time.
A feature of the event is the annual donations made to charitable projects. The Violence Prevention Alliance's Child Resiliency Program will be this year's beneficiary. Robian Williams for CBM Live.
Jamaica's tourism sector is booming. A preliminary report from the Jamaica Tourist Board has revealed that the sector earned nearly $500 million more in 2019 when compared to 2018. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett has described this as a success for the country's growing tourism sector. Khadija Thomas reports.
All over the world, traveling to Jamaica for business and pleasure are contributing millions of dollars towards the Caribbean islands' economy. The results of such now being announced by the Tourist Minister, Edmund Bartlett, who disclosed that between January to February 2019, they have made great financial gains, earning between $3.7 to $3.8 billion.
The measure of tourism is both arrivals and earnings, but the more powerful part of it is the earnings. So earning for us increased by nearly $1.8 billion in 3.5 years.
Speaking at a press conference at the Jamaica Tourist Board offices in New Kingston, Bartlett says the Tourism Ministry has been setting targets under his leadership.
We said we wanted to increase the employment within the industry to 125,000 direct by 2021. We're at 127,000 as per the last number. So we have overperformed there by 2,000. We said we wanted to increase the number of rooms by 15,000 to 2021. We are well on track with that.
Bartlett shares that the tourism industry is now more focused on the training and development of its workers as they work at goals and plans for the 2020 year.
As we've set out to change the labor market arrangements in tourism, to remove the pain of seasonality and to make tourism into an all-year-round activity that will give tenure to workers.
Khadija Thomas, CVM Live.
The Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services TODS will be rolling out an 11-point plan of action that is expected to reduce indiscipline and improve standards among operators, especially in the Kingston metropolitan area. Also, with the digital switchover on the horizon, operators will soon be able to collect their fares through direct deposit to their account. Robian Williams has the details in this report.
Over the next 160 days, the country will see major changes in the operations of the public transport sector. The Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services TODS will be launching an 11-point plan of action on Sunday, January 19. Over 110 major events and activities will be unleashed across the island, with major focus in the corporate area. President of the Transport Group, Edgerton Newman, says this is in response to the level of indiscipline within the sector.
We have put together, along with our international partners, a series of programs. Matter of fact, one of the major one, what you will see starting within the next few weeks, where operators will now no longer have to jump up a transport center or a taxi stand to get passengers.
TODS has signed a contract with Xylec International Transport Service, which is a pre-book cashless travel platform designed to reduce transporting congestion and hassle.
Passengers now can call the taxi from home. You will know who is coming to pick you up as a taxi operator. You will know what type of shirt, what type of car, and everything about a taxi operator before he reaches to you.
But with this transformation program, how will payments be made?
Whatever card you have, or they will have special card designed for persons who don't have a MasterCard or a credit card to pay their travel.
The campaign is being held under the theme Order in and Outside the Public Transport Sector.
More information on a daily basis. We're going to have a major public education campaign. So, because you know, Jamaican people, as taxi operators, we don't quickly adapt to changes. But this will be better for them because no longer will they be using cash. So you want to see the taxi man with cash between his finger. We're trying to get rid of that. So the money for the operator will go straight into the operator's bank account.
Also, TODS will officially launch a customer service workshop awarding operators for outstanding service to the sector. Robian Williams for CVM Live.
Communications and Customer Service Manager at the National Workers Agency, Stephen Shaw, has provided an update on the ongoing road improvement projects in the corporate area. Shaw says although they had not met some of the established timelines, they are still on track with the projects. Khadija Thomas tells us more in this report.
The government's multi-billion-dollar road infrastructure upgrades are nearing completion. A total of 66 projects aimed at improving traffic flow were undertaken in all parishes at a cost of $5.8 billion. Among them were the U.S. $19 million Constant Spring Road Improvement Project and the U.S. $56 million Hagley Park Road Improvement Project. Communications and Customer Service Manager at the National Works Agency, NWA, Stephen Shaw, says that the NWA is near to closing out the projects.
Outstanding items are being ticked off. Corrective works are being done. Signs are being erected, and we are quite confident.
Throughout the road works, complaints have been made by residents about water disruption due to damaged pipelines and insufficient signs erected to indicate road detours or closures. Shaw, however, explains that there is some minor work to be done.
In the case of Constant Spring Road, we have been doing work this past weekend on one outstanding drainage system or drainage pipe.
With regards to drainage pipes in the road construction areas, Shaw says improvements have been made.
We do drainage works in the context of rehabilitative works, and where we would have seen the need for spot improvements, we do those. So it is an ongoing process.
Khadija Thomas, CVM Live.
Jamaicans are currently able to invest as little as 1,000 Jamaican dollars in major companies through the Jamaica Stock Exchange, as more companies are offering shares to the public. But are Jamaicans doing enough to capitalize on these opportunities? More in this report with Christine Forbes.
Jamaica boasts one of the best performing stock markets in the world, creating an abundance of opportunities for Jamaicans to invest through the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Within the last year, a number of companies have entered the market, making their shares available to the Jamaican public. Proven Investment recently revealed its plan to raise $4 billion Jamaican dollars in its additional public offer of shares in the company. But are Jamaicans fully informed to capitalize on these opportunities?
It is getting increasingly popular, but still less than 10% of Jamaicans are invested in the market at this particular point in time, compared to 50% of Americans. So we have a whole lot of work to do in order to get the ordinary Jamaican to understand the importance of the market. So we need to broaden the financial literacy program.
Financial analyst Mark Gale notes that a great deal has changed as the Jamaica stock market is now providing Jamaicans with greater access.
Some brokers that you can go to with, as little as $1,000, whereas, a couple of years ago, it would be tens of thousands, if not 100,000, right? So generally speaking, it's becoming more accessible, and while it is becoming more accessible, there's more demand, so more people are, investing.
He says investing in the stock market is one of the purest ways Jamaicans can acquire wealth.
As the company grows, your stake in the company gets more and more valuable. So all you have to do is just make an investment, and assuming that the company is well run and the company continues improving, your wealth improves, right? And so as that happens, and as your wealth improves, then you are more likely to, make more investment.
Minister of Finance Nigel Clark also disclosed the government's plan to make some of its shares in major companies public so that more Jamaicans can share in the ownership of the country's assets. Christine Forbes, CVM Live.
Regional and international